Hey, I just want to pop on here because I just had a really good conversation with someone that we just met, random stranger. Our we heard howling. We're like in this nature center, and we heard howling from the woods. And our kids like to play on the roof of our RV, and they were up there, and they heard the howling, and they started howling back, and like this, and then another group of people. So there was like three different groups of people howling for about 10 minutes or more, and it was just funny and cool. But later she comes out of the woods and she's like, "Were you the guys howling?" We're like, "Yeah." And she's like, "That was me. I started it." And it was cool. So we didn't see her again, and then we went inside the nature center. She happened to be in there, and Linavelle came and sat next to her daughter, and they started coloring together. And we started talking, and it turns out that she also was in the army and got out, and now she's on the road where a lot of us are when we're in our late 20s or early 30s, and we don't feel like we're doing what we want to do, is trying to discover ourselves, like where are we going to go, what we want to do. And we got into the conversation of, why me and Alex chose to RV, or to move into an RV and live this type of life. And like I was telling her, this isn't permanent for us. It isn't something we want to do forever, but it is something that we felt was going to take us into the best direction for what we wanted. So at the time, I knew I was unhappy. He knew he was unhappy. And we were constantly projecting that onto each other, basically blaming each other for the other person's unhappiness, or even just not being fully present with the family. So like you see that someone's not in a good mood, and when you ask them what's wrong, they're like, everything's fine, but clearly they're not happy. And it's a disconnection with yourself. It's really a dissociation. And you feel that when you're around people who are disconnected with yourselves. It's a vibration that you put out. And I was explaining to her how I finally came to the realization that I had to stop blaming him for my unhappiness, and I had to take full control of my life and start changing things instead of waiting for the perfect moment or for things to happen for me to just be happy. And like I was telling her, like, I still do want the house and the pool and all of those things back in my life. The difference now is that if I ever were to lose that again, I am not going to be unhappy because I don't have that, right? Because I know that it can be built again at any moment. And also, even when I had that, I wasn't happy. So it was a big realization to me that those things really do not matter. So we chose to move into an RV to quiet that noise of the daily life things of, going to work every day and taking the kids to practices and, just running errands and blah, blah, blah. And move into the RV, just be extremely intentional of what we allow into our lives, what we do. And what it has allowed us is really a journey inward, like hard inward looks all the time. When things aren't feeling right, we're in a tiny space, we have to talk about it. There's no ignoring it, there's no running away from it, there's no sleeping in another room, there's none of that. It's here, it's now, it's in the room. We have to talk about it because it affects our every move every day in a tiny living situation. So, and we knew that, and that was our purpose of it. It's like, what better way to bring out all the ugly than to stick it in a small box where it cannot escape. And now you have to hash it out. Now you have to look at it in the face and you have to solve it. And and we have done that, and it's been amazing to see what has happened in the past 10 months since we bought this RV, and we started becoming more intentional with our lives and everything we did. And now to be at this point where we can talk about this with other people and be a sense of inspiration for them of, you're right where you need to be. And like I was telling her, we can look at all the bad things in our lives as negative, but at the end of the day, if you ask yourself, what were the things that have made you stronger? What are the things that have forced you to grow, to see things differently? It's been the hard times in your life. It's never the easy times. It's not when we're on vacation. It's not when things are going well. So what I've been able to do with those times in my life is I see it as weaving the darkness and the light to allow that energy to power the light even more. And it doesn't mean that those dark moments won't come and that now I won't have them. They still will come. It's life. It's meant to ebb and flow. But now I'm able to shift out of those moments faster. I'm able to look at them differently. Even when I'm in them, I can now use different language. I don't victimize myself because something bad is happening or because something that I perceive to be bad is happening. And I have a conversation on that I'll make another video on, something that happened to me recently and how I've been able to carry myself through that process. That's all I wanted to say today. Thank you for listening.